Well, good morning. I've had a few of these sessions and they've all been highly constructive from my point of view, and we intend to continue this continual level of engagement with our key stakeholders and basically maintain that communication flow. But as Carl said, I was appointed Crown Manager back in July. It seems an eternity, really, back in July. The purpose of this session really is one of the purposes is to basically update you on progress in the implementation of our action plan. That was something that ministers required of me within a month of taking up my appointment as Crown Manager. And the action plan was really a series of initiatives that were designed to lift the performance of the Building Control Unit to the point where we could regain accreditation, and that's scheduled for sometime next year. But there was another objective behind the action plan, which is in many ways much more interesting and important, and that was to position the Building Control Unit to manage the challenges that lay ahead in terms of the rebuild of Christchurch City. And interestingly enough, those two objectives are mutually reinforcing. They're not in conflict with one another. So by lifting the performance of the Building Control Unit, we are obviously, almost by definition, positioning us well to manage the challenges of the rebuild. The big picture, we're laying the foundations, but the impacts have yet to kick in. So that, in a way, is a good story. So we've laid the foundations, but you haven't seen any results yet. And I've said publicly that things will probably get worse before they get better. I think we're actually probably just about holding our own, but only just. But the good news is that the stuff we're doing has yet to have an impact, and we're looking forward to that as much as you are over the next few months. So there were some immediate things that we had to do, and the first was to get a fix on actually what lay ahead in terms of a challenge. What does a demand profile look like for building consent applications? And I'm going to come on to that fairly soon, because that's a key point. We obviously needed to increase our capacity and also our skill sets within the Building Control Unit, and within that context ensure that all of our staff are properly assessed technically against the competency assessment framework. Ministers were concerned that we undertake an audit of the decision making around building consents. In fact, 3 audits have now been undertaken, and that was to establish whether the decision making had actually been accurate or not, or whether the issues around accreditation were more process and system issues. Fortunately, the audits have come through well. Our decision making has been accurate and good, and I'm very pleased about that, because if it hadn't been, we'd have a quite different order of problem on our hands. And then, of course, to implement an audit regime that is necessary to achieve accreditation. So those are the immediate things that we've basically initiated. Then by the end of 2013, we've set an objective, firstly, to streamline the building control functions. And we're well advanced in a program of work to achieve that objective, but that's something that will have an impact or kick in a little bit further down the track. Trialling the regional digital online building consent application process inspection system. Andrew Minturn will be talking more about that. Review the organisation structure of the Building Control Unit. I'm going to come back to that in this address as well. Basically implement the Go Gets inspection system, which is essentially a tablet that inspectors have out in the field, and they can download all of the relevant information that's necessary for them to do their inspection function. And really get prioritisation for building control in respect of technology projects within City Council, and that's happened as well. And then by 2014, we'll be going back to IANZ to seek accreditation. I've had a couple of discussions with them, and we're looking at around about the mid-2014 for IANZ to come and do quite an intensive review of the Building Control Unit. And I'm sure there will be some corrective actions that we will need to pursue, but we're looking at regaining accreditation in the second half of 2014. So we're not rushing, and I made it very clear at the start that we're not going to rush this. we've got to take the time to embed in some robust systems and processes, so that and which will then be lasting, and which so that the performance improvement that I hope you'll notice within the building control unit will be sustained well beyond the challenges of the rebuild and well beyond my tenure.